intelligence. As we all know that emotions are the integral part of our life. When we encounter various favorable or non-favorable situations in our lives, we show or face some emotions. Sometimes it is mandate to express them, and sometimes we need to control them so that we can avoid the adverse or negative situations. For being that much capable, we should be aware about the right or wrong and pros or cons of any circumstance, as well as we must know about the outcome of the interaction between our emotions and the stimulus situation. It can be done only when we are consciously involved and understanding our own and others' emotions, as well as the demand of the situations. Keeping all this in view, today's webinar is concerning enhancing the consciousness through emotional intelligence, and for that we have the esteemed speaker Dr. Ashima Srivastava with us. Dr. Ashima Srivastava is the clinical psychologist at Saran Ashram Hospital, Dayalbagh, Agra. She has been practicing behavioral and cognitive techniques on psychologically impaired children for last 5 years. Her expertise areas is in cognitive psychology. She is using neuropsychological assessments, brainwave instruments, EEG, and biofeedback on 2 to 5 year old children. Also researching on autistic children. She completed her postdoctoral fellowship from UGC on Chakra Energy in 2020. She has also mentored in a faculty development program at DEI for a 3 years degree course in cognitive psychology in 2019. She completed practical training in clinical psychology, diagnostics, and therapeutics in June 2018 by the Institute of Mental Health and Hospital, Agra. She has attended various workshops as well as organized various workshops which were focused on the children and mental health and their mental health. She was a speaker at International Congress on Neurology and Rehabilitation, ICNR 2007, New Delhi. She organized various lectures on effective teaching methods. They organized various workshops for the personality development and communication skills of the adolescent. She presented and published various papers in national and international reputed journals. And here we welcome her to deliver her wisdom words with us. We invite you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And I thank all the faculty members, especially faculty dean, head of the department, and all faculty members and students who has given me this platform and for this opportunity to interact with you. And it will be an interactive session. I would like to know how many psychology students and faculty members are there, and it is a common platform or a specific clinical or a psychologist are there, so that I can ask questions or interact in that level. And the medium will be English or mixed. I would prefer mixed or whatever you feel like. I have no issues. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Your voice is very weak, ma'am.
Hello.
Earlier it was, now it is fine. Thank you.
Ma'am, actually students are comfortable in both languages, English and Hindi. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
okay.
Hanji, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And it will be a 1.5 hour session, or what time I have for almost 1 hour 30 seconds, 30 minutes, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So shall we start now?
Yes, ma'am.
So emotional intelligence, as you know, is an ability to understand the needs and the feelings of oneself and other people, right? So Here we manage one's own feeling, respond in an appropriate way. So, how we can understand emotional intelligence? Through your self-management, through your managing your own self-feelings or emotions, through social awareness, and when your EQ is high,
Excuse me,
emotional
ma'am.
quotient is high.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I
All
think there is some problem in your network. जो आपकी voice है, it is blur. It is not clear to us.
okay, network is all right, I suppose. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
It is better?
Yes, ma'am. Far better, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. So, shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Previous slide. So, it is related with self-awareness. Better? Voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So, emotional intelligence is related with understanding the needs and feelings of oneself and other people. It is to manage one's own feeling, response in an appropriate behavior, slides are not working. Sorry. Ani does pop up in your कहीं और से मैनेज कर छोटा कर दे बहुत स्लो चल रहा है उसमें आईडी रहा पूरा विजिबल नहीं हो रहा
Hello.
Yes, give me 1 second, ma'am. I
Ma'am,
think
that's
the
fine.
net is slow, very slow. Net
Ma'am,
is slow, so
ma'am,
the
it is,
slides are not visible.
ma'am, it is all right. Your screen is visible to us. In the PPT is also a slideshow की जरूरत नहीं है, I think. It is clear to us.
Okay.
जी.
Okay, thank you. So, the response is when a person is responding in proper way, he is called or she is called emotionally intelligent and is when a person's EQ is high, he's more socially intelligent, his IQ is high, his empathy level is better, he understands others, his self-confidence is good, and he can work in teams or corporate. So his performance will be definitely better than any other person. So this is called emotional intelligent person. Have you encountered these situations? Have you met any kind of a person who is having high IQ or EQ? So we are talking about EQ, not IQ today. So as we know, the Vinci and Van Gogh says, don't forget that little emotions are the great captains of our life. So here we are going to suppose we are managing a situation where a person is using strong words, over display of displeasure, strong reactions, or wrong time or inappropriate words, or heightened emotions. What do you call him? Whether he is a high EQ person? Anybody? Can you answer this?
No, ma'am.
Any student? I want interactive session. Any of you can answer this? Most of the time we encounter such situations when person is having anger, heightened emotions, displeasure situations, strong reactions. So when we want a person who is having good EQ, why EQ is so important? We just try to understand. Over past 2 decades, children have become more and more depressed these days. They become lonely, impulsive, and disobedient, nervous, prone to worry, and irritable, and prone to eating disorders. That is why we call the EQ is very important in this era. So, what are the causes? There are some possible causes of these situations because parents have less time for children. There are nuclear families in the society, less relative interactions. Both the parents are working. Both the parents are often less time for children to interact with. So children are most of the time addicted to digital screen. So these are the reasons why we found that these situations, angerness, unpleasant situations, loneliness, depressed situations are very high in rate in society. So IQ value creativity, intelligence, whereas EQ value stress management, decision making, relationship building, and it can be enhanced. It's a dynamic process where a person can grow his or her IQ gradually. EQ. But what is the difference between IQ or EQ? Can you differ IQ from EQ? Anybody? So IQ means IQ measures of an individual's personal information bank, a memory, vocabulary, visual aids. IQ is a set of questions or peaks, which is peaks at 17 age. It remains constant through adulthood, but it cannot be changed after 10% or and so. So IQ is related to your head or thought process or thinking part, whereas EQ is related with your heart, emotions, your feeling part. So what is the difference between EQ and IQ? IQ is established by mid-teens and through your heredity genes. And it can't be increased much and predicts only 10 to 20% of life success. Whereas EQ is not fixed. It's a dynamic process. It can be improved throughout the life. There is a very good saying by Lao, Chinese proverb, in dwelling, be close to the land, in meditation, go deep in the heart, in dwelling with others, be gentle and kind, in a speech, be true, be ruling, just, in daily life, be competent, in action, be aware of the time and season, no fights, no blames. This is a condition where you can survive in high EQ situations. Anybody can be angry, but in the similar Aristotle saying, anybody can be, Aristotle says, anybody can be angry, that is very easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree at the right time for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not very easy for anyone. So we can say that a good soldier is not violent, a good fighter is not angry, a good winner is not vengeful. This is known as the virtue of not striving. This is known as ability to deal with people. This since ancient times has been known as the ultimate unity with heavens. So we can say that an emotional, intelligent person is knowing about one's feeling or emotions. He or she is managing emotions, feelings appropriately, is able to manage or motivate ourselves, and he has a ability to persist in face-to-face frustrations, an ability to control impulses and delay gratifications, ability to emphasize social competencies. So I think this is clear. So today we are talking about emotional intelligence. Why so? Why not emotional? Why not intellectual intelligence? Because emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage, control, and one's own emotion and those of others. It is, according to Goldman, has given this concept the capacity for recognizing our own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. So this is a better concept we want to work on. So students, if you have or anybody is having EQ, low EQ level, don't worry if you have low EQ. We have a lot of solutions. Like there are common myths. Workplaces are devoid of emotions. It's not true. Professionals do not need to be emotional. We need to leave emotions at home. No, it's not. We can have emotions, but we should not throw our tantrums or emotions to others. We have to adjust ourselves, motivate, and recognize others' feeling. So to be a professional, to be a successful person in life, we need to have very high intelligence. It's not true. IQ measures only cognitive intelligence, whereas emotional intelligence has little to do with IQ, but to do with how you or yourself, you are aware of your emotions and how you interact with others. So you can see there's a situation. IQ is filled with your unfulfilled desires. It is related with your sometimes conscious mind, unconscious mind, subconscious mind. Whereas EQ is your purely emotions, which is inside. It is related with your heart feelings, or you can see that. Emotional intelligence, why emotional intelligence is very important in life? Because emotionally intelligent person helps better in job situations, performs better. He helps to be an effective leader. He conducts tough conversation easily, enables you to develop high performance, and enables you to develop rapport, relationship with your teams, peers, managers, and leaders. So, how many of us think that we need to understand, be compassionate of our manager? So, in a way, we can say that IQ develops your thinking or cognitive part, whereas EQ develops your emotional parts. So you should be compassionate person in your team, in your life. So you to develop emotionally intelligent team, they are comfortable and perform at their best. So Honda says that individuals and teams learn best when a climate is created that supports the quality of time at work rather than output. You to contribute to create successful organizations where people work with positive attitude. Would you like to share about any leader with whom you have worked and you would say that he or she is an emotionally intelligent person? Please answer this question later on. So now we can ask how we can develop emotionally intelligent person, how we can develop a positive team in our work atmosphere or anywhere in life situations. Among many important topics, let's focus on one that is particularly important for us in our current situations, negative feelings and their impacts. So common feelings are a person who is disrespected, unappreciated, unmotivated, bored, stressed, unsupported, over-controlled, underestimated. That means a person is having insecurity and he feels unimportant in life. So we can develop such person as a emotionally intelligent person. How? So first of all, we will evaluate the person's IQ. There are some questionnaires. We can use some questionnaires and ask his EQ level through a psychologist. So we can develop a person who has low EQ or negative EQ to become emotionally literate person. We will tell that person, label your feelings rather than labeling people or situations. Distinguish between thoughts and feelings. हमेशा अपने थॉट्स और फीलिंग्स को उस व्यक्ति को जानना आना चाहिए. Don't advise, command, control, criticize, judge, or lecture to others. A person who is having low EQ, he always advises others. So we say, if you want to become a high EQ person, you should not advise others, you advise yourself only. Take more responsibility for your own feelings. Don't be critical, aggressive, close-minded. Take more responsibility towards your own feelings. Use your feelings to help to make decisions. And problem causes by negative feelings are increase in absenteeism, insufficient communication, increase in your defectiveness, your dishonesty, less creativity, fears, and less ability to take criticisms, increase in personal attacks. So we need to change your EQ level at right time. Use feelings to set and achieve goals. Feel energized, not angry. Do not feel angry. Most of the time, or rather we can say 50% of the time is wasted through lack of trust, where people are clearing up their issues or dwelling on them rather than being productive. So let's remember that the majority of problems at workplace or in classroom situations are from unmet emotional needs. We don't know, we blast sometimes some. So this is an emotionally intelligent person's model who is self-aware, self-managed. He has management rapport skills, management, relationship management skills, and he is socially aware. उसके आसपास जो भी हो रहा है वो अपने बारे में जानता है और दूसरों के बारे में भी जानता है और दूसरों को एम्पैथाइज कर सकता है. Use feelings to help others, to show respect for others. So this model is unique model of any complete man. If you are emotionally intelligent person, you are self-aware, self-managed, involves your controls, your emotions. You are socially aware, means you have ability to understand others, and you have ability to inspire or influence others. That is very important in life. We usually inspire, we are inspired by others, but we don't inspire others. So this is a great quality of emotionally intelligent person. So validate other people's feelings, avoid people who invalidate you. This is the most important quality of emotionally intelligent person. Have you ever met an emotionally intelligent person? Emotionally intelligent person is having empathy. He is responsive to others. Organizational awareness is there. He has emotional self-control, transparency, adaptability, optimism. वो आशावादी होता है, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंट होता है, इमोशनल सेल्फ अवेयर होता है, एंड दूसरों के लिए एक इंस्पिरेशनल मोटिवेशनल लीडर होता है. His or her communication skills are fine. He's a change catalyst to the system. He's a conflict management person. And he has the ability to work in a team in collaboration. आपको ये सीन याद होगा, ये किस मूवी से है? Can you recall this character? Anybody
Munna Bhai
from
MBBS.
audience? Yeah, very true. मुन्ना भाई एमबीबीएस का एक कैरेक्टर आपने देखा होगा. ये मूवी बहुत पॉपुलर हुई थी. इस कैरेक्टर की संजय दत्त जी ने एक मुन्ना भाई का कैरेक्टर अपनाया था. वो एक प्रोफेशनल नहीं थे, उनकी कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी उतनी नहीं थी, लेकिन उनकी ईक्यू लेवल बहुत हाई थी. लोगों से प्यार से, पेशेंट से, डॉक्टर से, हर सिचुएशन को वो बहुत अच्छे से हैंडल कर लेते थे. दूसरों के इमोशंस को समझते थे, फीलिंग्स को समझते थे और मोटिवेट करते थे. तो एक इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन के अंदर ये क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए, जो सिचुएशन में रेपो डेवलप करते हुए अपने को आगे बढ़ाए और उसका पर्पस सोशली अवेयर होते हुए लोगों को मोटिवेट करना है. वही पर्सन इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट कहलाता है. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटीज में ही भी हाई होगा. वो हो सकता है, लेकिन इट इज नॉट वेरी essential quality of a person. So what is the message? Knowing others is a wisdom. Knowing the self is enlightenment. Mastering others requires force. Mastering the self requires strength. This is called consciousness. The sage has no mind of its own. He is aware of needs of other. I am good to people who are good. I am also good to people who are not good, because virtue is goodness. I have faith in people who are faithful. I have faith in people who are not faithful, because virtue is faithfulness. So emotionally intelligent person is self-aware, accurate, self-confident, emotionally self-controlled, transparent, optimistic, empathetic, and he is a motivational and communication skilled person. He has also ability to know others. He is emotionally self-aware, accurate, emotionally controlled. He has communication skills, and he is socially aware. This is called social intelligence. He knows how to manage relationships relations with others. What is social intelligence? This is a situational awareness. हर situation में कोई भी व्यक्ति किस तरह से लोगों को empathize करता है, the ability to understand and empathize with people in different situations, the ability to sense feelings and possible intentions, then अपनी presence को वो कैसे feel करता है, the way person affect individuals or group through his or her physical presence, his moods, his body language is very important. And he should a bearing person, a physically that gives and gets respect and attention. The authenticity, a dimension that reveals how honest and sincere individuals are with self and others. The ability to connect genuinely with other people. Clarity, the ability to express one's thoughts, opinions, ideas, and intentions, the ability to understand the power of language as a medium of thought and expression, the ability to use language as a strategic asset, and empathy, awareness and consideration of the feelings of others, capacity of tuning into others and creating a sense of connectedness. आप यहाँ पर एक सीन देख रहे हैं, क्या आप विजुलाइज कर सकते हैं कि ये कहाँ से लिया गया है? Where it is depicted from? ये हम सोशल इंटेलिजेंस की बात कर रहे हैं, जहां हम एम्पैथी, क्लैरिटी, ऑथेंटिसिटी, प्रेजेंस और सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस को एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं. Anybody from audience?
Ma'am, Sansad.
अच्छा, very good, very close to the scene. और सोचिए आगे, ये पार्लियामेंट का सीन है या और कुछ दिख रहा है आपको? कोई भी व्यक्ति जब सोशली अवेयर होता है और आम लोगों के इमोशंस को फील करता है, तो भी वो इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट कहलाता है. यहाँ पे ये सिचुएशन में ये महात्मा गांधी फिल्म से लिया गया है. महात्मा गांधी जी जब दक्षिण अफ्रीका में थे और उनके साथ एक हादसा हुआ कि उनको चलती हुई ट्रेन से बाहर निकाल दिया गया, और ऐसा आम भारतीयों के साथ वहां पे हो रहा था. तो उन्होंने इस सिचुएशन को एम्पैथाइज करते हुए एक आम सभा में वो संबोधित कर रहे हैं, और लोगों की फीलिंग्स बहुत भड़कने वाली थी. वो भी उस समय जिस प्रवृत्ति के थे वो भड़क सकते थे. बहुत यंग एज में थे और उनकी एक पोजीशन थी, एक एज एस्टीम लॉयर वो वहां काम कर रहे थे, एडवोकेट थे. लेकिन उन्होंने उस सिचुएशन में कैटलिस्ट का काम, मोटिवेशन का काम किया कि हमें एक इस दक्षिण अफ्रीका की सरकार के साथ लड़ाई लड़नी है, लेकिन प्रेम से. और अपनी आवाज, अपनी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट बनाते हुए अपनी आवाज को उन्होंने वहां पे बुलंद किया. तो ये एक सोशल इंटेलिजेंस का एग्जाम्पल है जो उन्होंने सोसाइटी में पेश किया, और उनकी लड़ाई स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन तक चली. और आप सभी जानते हैं महात्मा गांधी का जो सहयोग और रहा हमारे स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन में, वो एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले करता रहा. अगर वो इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन नहीं होते तो शायद वो ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट के पैर यहाँ से नहीं उखाड़ सकते थे. इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्होंने ही रोल प्ले किया, लेकिन बहुत लोग जो उग्रवादी गरम दल के लोग थे, उनके द्वारा गवर्नमेंट को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा। ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने हमारा ध्यान तभी आकर्षित, उनका हमारी तरफ ध्यान आकर्षित किया जब महात्मा गांधी जैसे सोशली और इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन ने एक सिचुएशन को, अपनी बात को गवर्नमेंट तक, हर बात को रखा कि हम ये हमारा अधिकार है, हर भारतीय का अधिकार है, हम इस तरह से नहीं रहेंगे। ठीक है, तो ये एक लाइव एग्जाम्पल है। 2 एग्जाम्पल मैंने दिए, एक मुन्ना भाई का और दूसरा महात्मा गांधी का। तो इसको साथ में रखते हुए हम ये देखेंगे कि इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन की क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होती हैं। अंबेडकर ने भी ये बताया है। अंबेडकर also emphasized following 3 principles for the peaceful, just society and polity: the equality, rational understanding, and empathy. A person who is having samta, praneta, and karuna, अगर ये चीजें होती हैं तो इंसान इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट कहलाता है। सो व्हाट आर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन? a person who has capacity to hope. He has capacity to know one's feelings, managing emotions and feelings appropriately, able to motivate self, ability to persist, to face various situations. He has ability to control the emotions, impulses. He has ability to empathize, and emphasize others, and he is socially competent. Social intelligence. This is, I have already explained it. So now we have understood that emotional intelligence is not fixed. It can be developed. It's a dynamic process. As we get older, we get wiser. Right? So, whereas IQ is established at birth time, and we cannot increase much, only 10 to 20% by training, we can increase anybody's IQ, whereas EQ is a dynamic process, we can change it. So you could use many methods to develop EQ. There are many methods. First, you observe yourself, introspect. Observation is the first method, or introspection. You meditate. When your consciousness, your body, mind, and soul synchronizes, you meditate, and you can recognize your strength and weaknesses. Observe others, how emotionally intelligent they are. So then you can understand. Daniel Goleman had given this concept, emotional intelligence. There are many books, reference books of social intelligence, emotional intelligence. He has given the concept of emotional intelligence in 1980. There are a number of articles, books are available. So you have to discuss about it with your classmates, peers, your superiors, teach about them, learn from many other sources and practices. So introspection, अगर हम self को organize करें, self meditate करें, introspect करें, तो हमारी अपनी weakness और strength हमको पता चल जाती हैं. और धीरे धीरे हम इसको बढ़ा सकते हैं. How to increase your EQ? Conduct a personal inventory. अपनी एक inventory बनाएं. Analyze the settings and identify skills. Enlist trusted friends. Focus on a few competencies. Practice, practice, and practice is the only payout. Be observant and reflective. Do not expect immediate results. Then only you can increase your EQ. Learn from your mistakes and always acknowledge your success. All emotions, human beings have emotional needs. Each of us have similar but different emotional needs. Emotional needs vary, one in degree, then type. आपने मैस्लो हायरार्किकल थ्योरी पढ़ी होगी. इमोशनल नीड्स कहाँ पे आती हैं बेटा? Anybody? हायरार्किकल नीड्स, मैस्लो की हायरार्किकल नीड्स पढ़ी हैं आपने?
Belongingness, ma'am. Third need.
Yes, first is your belongingness or physiological needs. Second is
Safety.
safety, and then emotional needs.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can think that first your belonging needs, safety needs are very uprooted to your mind. So it is not very easy for everyone to change your emotional needs or to vary your emotional needs. So emotional needs are very, very strong, right? So unless you observe yourself and you try to be more cautious about yourself, you should know about your weaknesses and strength, then only you can develop as emotional and socially intelligent person. You can see Vivekananda ji, Jesus Christ, Guru Nanak Sahab, Gautam Buddha, Ramakrishna Paramhans. These are the different community saints which gives us real examples of emotional and social intelligence. They had wisdom. They were socially and emotionally good leaders. So all Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Zen, Tao, Jainism, Sikhism are based on the concepts found compassion, sacrifice, good and evil, dharmas, and virtual path. This is called consciousness. Even Dalai Lama, who is a life government known these days, is working on non-violence. So he is also a saint. So to be a developing emotional and socially intelligent person, avoid becoming an emotional sucker or a sounding board. Make sure that your managerial courage is not compromised. Otherwise, you will not be an happy person. So what can you do today to excel emotionally intelligent? You should know about yourself. You should be socially aware, self-managed, rapport developing person. So think, introspect that whether you are an emotionally stable person or not, you are aware of your emotions, How do you behave in various situations? What is your reactions? Write down your reactions first, then we'll discuss about it. Then how aware are you of others? आप दूसरों के बारे में कितना सोचते समझते हैं, empathize करते हैं? Do you combine self-aware and social awareness? And are you building relations, trust, integrity between the team or in classroom situations? This is a model of emotionally intelligent person. Research shows that individuals with a high sense of emotional intelligence tend to be succeeded and excel in different areas of life, like overall performance will be high, like 60 to 70%. Your personal effectiveness will be 50 to 60% high rather than intelligent person. Your quality of life will be 40% higher than any other person. Your relationship quality management will be 30% high, and your general health will be 30% high. So I would invite your questions now and think about yourself first. I've already explained what is emotional intelligence, how to develop a high sense of emotional intelligence in yourself, what is IQ and EQ, then components of emotional quotient, characteristics, how to increase your EQ, and finally implementation. If you increase your importance and implementation, if you increase your consciousness, then only you can be an emotionally intelligent person. You have to introspect yourself, concentrate on your emotions first and thought first processes. So can we do a exercise? We have sufficient time, I think, half an hour. This is a group exercise we can do and you can answer. I'm asking you one question. I'm impatient with people who are different from me. What does it mean? I'm impatient with people. This is a group exercise. आपको कितना समझ में आया फिर मैं आपको सिंपल लैंग्वेज में भी समझा सकती हूँ. I am an impatient person with people who are different from me. What type of a person you are? अगर आप impatient हैं लोगों के साथ जो आपके साथ डिफरेंट सिचुएशन में डिफरेंट तरह से रिएक्ट करते हैं. एनीबडी? तनवीर, हरबानी, नैंसी, एनीबडी? आप क्या, अच्छा सिंपल क्वेश्चन, क्या आपको लगता है कि आप इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट हैं? कैसे रेट करेंगे? एनीवेज आप लोग पूछिए, फिर मैं बाद में पूछूंगी. इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू understand these questions, because ये theoretical knowledge जब होगी तभी आप समझेंगे. Anybody who's having any queries? क्या आप समझ पाए कि आप इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन है? मैंने महात्मा गांधी, गौतम बुद्ध का एग्जाम्पल दिया. आपको मैं बता दूं कि सभी को पता है कि फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड्स, सेफ्टी, बिलोंगिंगनेस, इमोशनल नीड्स, सेल्फ एस्टीम तक सब कुछ था महात्मा बुद्ध के पास में. लेकिन उन्होंने जीवन क्या है उसे जानने के लिए सब कुछ का त्याग किया. वो उनके पास सभी भोग विलासिता के सभी साधन थे. वो एक राजा के पुत्र थे. उन्हें सब कुछ जन्म से प्राप्त था. जो हमारी 3 नीड्स हैं, फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड्स, सेफ्टी नीड्स और इमोशनल नीड्स में ही हम लोग 3 जीवन जीते रहते हैं. सारे जीवन का सार हम यहीं पे खत्म कर देते हैं. या सेल्फ एस्टीम तक, जितने भी हमारे पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स हैं वो अपने सेल्फ एस्टीम को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए करते हैं. लेकिन सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन तक जो मैस्लो की थ्योरी है, वो बहुत कम लोग, जो इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट लोग होते हैं या सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइज्ड होते हैं, वही लोग पहुंचते हैं. तो महात्मा बुद्ध या महात्मा गांधी, जिनका एग्जाम्पल दिया गौतम बुद्ध का या जीसस क्राइस्ट का, जिन्होंने अपने लिए जीवन नहीं जिया, वो दूसरों के दुख को एम्पथाइज या रेपो करके चलते थे. तो वो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है. तो आप भी एम्पथाइज करिए. देर आर नंबर ऑफ स्केल्स जिससे हम इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस, गोलमैन के ही काफी अच्छे स्केल्स हैं जिससे हम इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को मेजर कर सकते हैं. हम लोग दयालबाग एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट में बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. छोटे छोटे बच्चों की इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को बढ़ाने के लिए हम उनकी 2 to 5 years पे काफी स्टडी कर रहे हैं. ना सिर्फ इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस बल्कि स्पिरिचुअल कोशेंट और स्पिरिचुअल इंटेलिजेंस को भी बढ़ाने का काम कर रहे हैं. तो जिसमें हम वेरियस 6 months में कुछ साइकोलॉजिस्ट की टीम है या डॉक्टर्स की टीम है, वो हम करते हैं. और कॉन्शियसनेस स्टडीज पे दयालबाग में बहुत काम हो रहा है. और ये काम इसलिए कर रहे हैं कि हम एक बेहतर इंसान को अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी से प्रोडक्टिव इंडिविजुअल्स को आगे प्रोड्यूस करके भेजें. हर यूनिवर्सिटी का यही मिशन होता है सर. पर मेरा ये कहना है कि हम अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी से, साइकोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट से ये अपील करेंगे कि अगर इस तरह के वर्कशॉप्स किए जाएं जिसमें लाइव एग्जाम्पल्स दिए जाएं थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज के अलावा, तो बच्चों को, स्टूडेंट्स को ज्यादा अवेयर होंगे और वो समझेंगे कि इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन वो आगे कॉर्पोरेट में काम करें, आगे एमबीए करके या इंडस्ट्रियल साइकोलॉजी में आगे बढ़ें. तो किसी कॉर्पोरेट्स में अगर काम करते हैं, टीचिंग एनवायरनमेंट में, एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशंस में काम करते हैं, तो उनका इमोशनली सिक्योर होना, इमोशनली कोशेंट हाई होना बहुत जरूरी है. कि अदरवाइज आप दुनिया में सर्वाइवल बहुत मुश्किल है. जिनका EQ पुअर होता है, उनके अंदर अपने आप में सेल्फ क्रिटिसिज्म, नेगेटिविटी, अपने नजरों में ही वो गिरने लगते हैं और अपने आसपास के एनवायरनमेंट को ही वो बहुत सोशली और मोटिवेशनल नहीं बना पाते हैं, इंस्पिरेशनल नहीं बना पाते हैं. तो इसलिए एक प्रोडक्टिव इंडिविजुअल बनने के लिए, एक ऐसा इंसान बनने के लिए आपके अंदर कॉन्शियसनेस को रेज करना, आपके अंदर अटेंशन स्किल्स डेवलप करना, आपके अंदर ऐसी बातों को डेवलप करना जो आपके अंदर मोटिवेशन एंड वैल्यू सिस्टम को हाई करे, बहुत जरूरी है. तो अगर हम खुद इंस्पिरेशनल काम करेंगे तभी हम मोटिवेशनल एनवायरनमेंट बनाएंगे, या इंस्पिरेशनल या रेपो फीलिंग होगी, या आपके अंदर एम्पैथी होगी. अगर हम वो काम ही नहीं करेंगे तो आपके अंदर वो फीलिंग्स होंगी ही नहीं. तो हम सभी साइकोलॉजिस्ट का एक ये बड़ा रोल है सोसाइटी में कि हम इस तरह के काम करें और अपने आसपास के एनवायरनमेंट को प्रोडक्टिव एनवायरनमेंट बनाए, अपने आसपास के जो भी इंडिविजुअल्स हैं साथ में उनको भी इसके बारे में अवेयर कराएं. Thank you very much for listening me patiently. And if you have any queries, the forum is open for you. But still we have 20 minutes with us. Anybody? Chandni ma'am? I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, we have a subject in BA second year with us as an emotional intelligence. It is entitled as
Okay.
emotional intelligence. So
Okay,
they
very
have,
good. Who teaches that? They have
she
the
has,
exposure, huh?
yes, ma'am. They have the exposure with this term. They because before being the intellectual, matlab academically intellectual person, we need to be the emotionally intelligent one. So that and it starts from our family only, because we learn so many things. And I hope and I wish that your wisdom words will help our students to establish their life, and they will be more good in settling their within their families, in their peer groups, in their academic life, as well as wherever they will be settled for their occupational aspect. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being there with us and for sparing timing for us. And we'll
Thank
be in
you very
touch.
much.
Anji.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
definitely. Anytime I'm coming to Chandigarh, may visit to your university. So thank you, Major General G.S. Lamba sir also.
Yes.
Thank you for
Ma'am,
patient listening. Yeah.
ma'am, ma'am,
Excuse
Yes,
me,
ma'am.
he is
I have one question related to
Ji, sir.
different types of coefficients like IQ, EQ, SQ, AQ, and CQ. Which among these coefficients are important to enhance the consciousness of a person? Like I think spiritual
Excuse
coefficient is very important
spiritual
compared to other
quotient and as well as EQ is very important. Cognitive domain is definitely important for any person to perform in a better to be a better individual. But definitely regarding your query, I would say spiritual quotient or spiritually enlightened person or emotionally quotient high person will be better.
My next query is related to the history of this EQ, whether the concept has been given by Daniel Goleman or any other researcher.
Definitely, Daniel Goleman has given this concept earlier, but when we see our ancient literature, there are examples, but this term is coined by Daniel Goleman.
Thank you very much.
ma'am, Sir Major General Dr. G.S. Lamba is with us.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
we request you to please address us.
Right, very good afternoon. I hope I am audible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much, sir. You are audible, sir.
Madam Ashima Srivastava. In fact, Dayal Bagh is very close to my heart. One of my very close friends, Brigadier Prem Dayal
Okay,
Gupta,
sir.
is there with you in that
Yes,
institute.
sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Kindly convey my
PD
regards to
Gupta,
him.
sir, is my neighbor. Brigadier Gupta is my neighbor.
Yes,
He's
yes,
a very
yes.
good person.
We've been together for initial 5 to 6 years of our service.
Okay, that's so nice
Right.
of him.
All right. The subject for today was a very contemporary. I am very happy after listening to your views, though I was not present for the webinar for a full duration. I had certain other engagements. The
No
last
problem, sir.
point which Dr. Ibadah had asked about IQ, EQ, and SQ. It is very clear, even in the MNCs, for selection initially, till about 2 decades back, the major criteria was the intelligence quotient. IQ was
Okay.
tested,
Okay.
whether it was in form of the MCQs or other questionnaires or even
Or
PPDT form.
Rorschach or TAT, right?
Yes. But slowly, as no person who may be excellent as an individual, But when they got to perform in teams, then you are looking at the emotional quotients. So EQ was the next one, which became important, and in various selection criteria also, people included techniques to judge the EQ level of
Develop.
various people.
Okay.
And as wherever the science ends, then science feels that yes, there is something which is beyond science, which possibly may or may not be able to be explained as per the scientific logic. And that is what is the spiritual parts. And that is where the spiritually aligned people have got better EQ and better IQ. So that is where the SQ started. SQ is the ultimate, definitely. But it is very difficult to judge the SQ level of people unless there are specific interactions made. And again, there's a lot of subjectivity in measurement of SQ. However, in the EQ and IQ, there's a lot of logic which is there. Anyway, I'm thankful to our Department of Psychology who have organized this webinar with a very apt resource person, Madam Srivastava. And I'm sure the students in today's interaction would have got enough food for thought on the particular subject and material for carrying out an introspection among in a group.
Sorry?
Should they behave in organization and ensure that they are useful members of team, useful members of any organization, because it is the organizations and teams which perform and not merely the individuals.
Very true.
I'm thankful to Madam Srivastava to have spared this time, and I'm sure belonging to a spiritually aligned institute at the Albagh, that whenever we again remember her and my students need her guidance, she'll be more than forthcoming to offer her
Definitely,
services.
sir. Definitely,
Thank
sir.
you, ma'am.
I belong
Thank
to
you very much.
Chandigarh, so I often come to Chandigarh. So anytime
Wonderful.
I can visit your institute or online, I
It
can
will be
be
our pleasure
connected.
to host you here
Thank you
at
very much.
Kal University. And I'm sure once you visit here, you will find a lot of elements of the Albagh even in this university.
Definitely, sir. So positive environment is there. I have heard through Madam Vandana ji. So
Ji.
she's a good friend of mine. I'm in
Yes,
touch
sir.
with her since last 20 years.
Yeah.
Thank
She
you
is
so
a
much, sir.
friend, philosopher, and guide of the Department of Psychology in Akal University. Vandana ji.
Okay, okay, sir.
Thank you very
If
much.
she had been remembering. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much,
Wish you
sir.
all the very
Nice
best.
pleasure meeting her. Pleasure meeting
you,
with
ma'am.
you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do come
Thank
to
you,
the
sir.
Albagh, sir. We can have any interactive sessions or anything. I'm using so many instruments in my research work. I'd been a postdoctoral fellow and a DST member. So inviting you anytime as a clinical psychologist or researcher to, if anybody can join us to any kind of a research, like I have the biofeedback, EEG and fMRI. So we can do a good collaborative research work in future with the Vandana ma'am and Department of Psychology. Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you,
have
ma'am.
consciousness studies department also in DI. It's a separate department, but I'm honorary faculty to that department also.
That's very nice, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom
Thank you.
words with us. And we are very thankful to Dr. Neelam Kumari and Dr. Yashpal Azad. They were connected with us from Eternal University, Badu Sahib. And there are many students who are connected from there. We are very thankful to them also. And I wish and hope that the students got some knowledge to expand their life, to live their life, to explore their careers from you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank